A billionaire. A luxurious restaurant. A dish so rare only the elite could afford it. Richard Harrington, one of the richest men alive, sat at an exclusive dining table, surrounded by the city's most powerful people. The golden chandelier above him shimmered as the waiter placed a plate before him. An extravagant meal that took months to prepare, made from the rarest ingredients in the world. Richard lifted his fork, his lips parting in anticipation. Then, a voice cut through the air like a knife. "Stop! Don't eat that!" Gasps erupted. The chatter died instantly. Every eye turned toward the entrance. A frail, ragged boy stood there, panting, his face twisted in sheer terror. His clothes were torn, his skin smeared with dirt, and his eyes wild with urgency. Locked onto Richard's plate. The billionaire's hand froze mid-air, the fork hovering inches from his lips. Silence gripped the room. Whispers rippled through the elite crowd. A homeless boy, barging into a place where only billionaires and royalty dined? And why was he so desperate to stop Richard from eating? The tension in the air was suffocating. Richard narrowed his eyes, his grip on the fork tightening. Before we uncover the bone-chilling truth, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell. For more powerful, life-changing stories, what could possibly make a starving child, who hadn't eaten in days, risk everything to stop a billionaire from tasting the world's most expensive meal? The answer will shock you to your core. Richard Harrington was a self-made billionaire. His empire spanned industries, technology, finance, real estate. But his success had come at a cost. Ruthless, relentless, he had crushed competitors and destroyed lives. To him, life was a battlefield, and he never lost. He had started from nothing. Born into poverty, Richard had clawed his way to the top through sheer determination and an unbreakable will. His first job was as a janitor at a local bank. While mopping floors, he eavesdropped on financial meetings, absorbing knowledge like a sponge. Soon, he found ways to invest the little money he had saved. Every decision he made was calculated, every move precise. Over time, he built an empire, acquiring companies, outmaneuvering rivals, and turning failing businesses into gold mines. But his climb to the top had hardened him. He valued efficiency over emotions, results over relationships. He had no time for weakness. His world was built on logic and power. He didn't believe in luck, fate, or kindness. And yet, tonight, fate had different plans for him. Tonight was supposed to be a night of celebration. A landmark deal had made Richard even wealthier, and his colleagues had arranged this extravagant dinner in his honor. A meal fit for kings, prepared by one of the world's most exclusive chefs. The restaurant was renowned for its secrecy and exclusivity. Only those with immense power and influence could enter. Its walls had heard whispered secrets of billion-dollar deals, political negotiations, and affairs of the elite. Tonight was supposed to be a night of celebration. A landmark deal had made Richard even wealthier, and his colleagues had arranged this extravagant dinner in his honor. A meal fit for kings, prepared by one of the world's most exclusive chefs. The restaurant was renowned for its secrecy and exclusivity. Only those with immense power and influence could enter. Its walls had heard whispered secrets of billion-dollar deals, political negotiations, and affairs of the elite. The private dining hall was filled with laughter, clinking glasses, and the quiet murmurs of business tycoons discussing their latest conquests. Richard was at the head of the table, the center of attention. He had everything anyone could ever want: power, wealth, and the respect of the world's elite. But now, an uninvited guest had just changed everything. The restaurant manager stormed toward the boy. "You have no business here." Richard held up a hand. "Wait." His sharp eyes locked onto the boy. "Tell me why I shouldn't eat this." The boy took a shaky breath. "Because I saw them poison it." Gasps. A woman dropped her glass. The restaurant was dead silent. Richard's pulse quickened. He had many enemies. Was this an assassination attempt? The boy's eyes darted around the room. They saw me. I ran before they could stop me." Richard turned to his bodyguards. "Lock the doors." Panic set in. The head chef stiffened. The waiters exchanged nervous glances. One thing was clear. Someone in that room knew the truth. Richard's security team quickly surrounded the kitchen staff. His most trusted bodyguard, Mason, stepped forward. "Sir, do you want me to test the food?" Richard's jaw clenched. He glanced back at the trembling boy, whose ribs protruded from his skin. A boy who clearly hadn't eaten in days. But still, he was more concerned about saving Richard than filling his own stomach. That was enough for Richard. He pushed the plate away. No one eats anything. A bead of sweat rolled down the head chef's temple. He suddenly bolted for the back exit. Stop him, Mason barked. Chaos erupted. Security tackled the chef before he could escape. Under interrogation, the truth surfaced. A rival business tycoon had paid him to eliminate Richard discreetly. Had the boy not spoken up, Richard would have been dead within the week. Richard exhaled sharply, turning back to the boy, the child who had just saved his life. What's your name? The boy's voice was barely a whisper. Ethan. Richard's tone softened. Where are your parents? Ethan's eyes glistened. I don't have any. A lump formed in Richard's throat. This child, who had nothing, had risked everything to save him. For the first time in his life, Richard felt something deeper than gratitude. Something he couldn't put a price on. That night, he made a decision that would change both their lives forever. He took Ethan in, gave him a home, an education, a future. But more than that, he learned something priceless. The true wealth of life isn't money. It's kindness. Months later, at a global charity event, Richard stood before a captivated audience. Beside him stood Ethan, no longer a frail homeless boy, but a child with a future. Richard took a deep breath. I spent my life believing that wealth meant power. But this boy, a homeless child, saved me. Not with money, but with courage. Silence. Then thunderous applause. That night, Richard pledged half his fortune to helping homeless children, to making sure no child would suffer the way Ethan had. Because true power isn't in riches. It's in who you choose to save. Not all heroes wear capes. Some wear rags and have hearts bigger than empires. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Let's spread kindness, because you never know whose life you might change. Would you have done the same if you were in Ethan's shoes? Let us know in the comments below.